Creating something brand new is hard. It takes a lot of different skills and is especially challenging to pull off on your own. But luckily, with a personality and some editing, you can capitalize off of someone else's creation by reacting. Reaction content has been around for a long time on YouTube, especially if you consider gaming content as a reaction, which is a whole other rabbit hole. But the idea of taking someone's content and adding to it as a concept can be honestly diffused into what most consider very different kinds of videos. So what part is a reaction? Some more general definitions of reaction videos mention more so the colloquial term of implying someone watching a video and reacting, but we can expand reacting a bit. Wikipedia uses the phrases emotional reaction, criticism, or commentary, which is broadened a bit by extra credits stating that fair use allows creators to criticize, comment on, report on, or otherwise talk about works. Though the latter definition is more predicated on the broad applications of fair use of media, it does decently demonstrate the current and past usages of reaction content. Though this video won't cover reaction content in the legal sense, since there have been various bits and other content already out in the ether, it's worth mentioning the fair use piece that often comes up. In determining something's degree of fair use, factors considered include the purpose, such as commercial versus nonprofit, the nature of the copyrighted media, portion to whole of copyrighted content used, and the effect this reaction has on the value of the original work. Breaking down reaction content formats based on these factors can get frustrating since there's a lot of gray area, and each fair use case is heavily reliant on circumstance. But it's a lens to use over practices happening online that can highlight what the law specifically would consider wrong and right. When we're talking about criticizing, commenting, reporting on, or teaching, some types of media stand to be more fair and fitting for reactions than others. Starting from the baseline of short form, the content is just really quick. Reporting on or critiquing shorts is few and far between, so the idea of either commenting or teaching are the key concepts that remain. Teaching is the easier one. Creators most often have the opportunity to teach with a short if they're specialized in a field. We'll get to that more later. The additiveness to such a short piece of content really is solid when it's an educational tidbit or expansion of what's mentioned in the short. Commenting on is the other aspect of short reactions, and this category varies the most in format and cases. The most insignificant role a creator can have in a comment on a short is just a facial reaction, noise, or laugh. The following setup is reading off the caption, directly describing what's happening in the short, or any other aspect that isn't really being additive. The ideal for the consideration of transformative content would be sharing a story based on what took place in a short, like detailing a personal anecdote, telling a joke based on the media, or perhaps even theorizing or speculating depending on what wouldn't fall under teaching. The main issue with shorts, which plagues other reaction media types, is the unexpected nature of non-prepared reacts. Without already knowing the content of the short before creating content on it, the creator's ability to generate a creative or informative response is hindered. Shorts may even be the worst format with this issue, as if they aren't selectively curated by a creator's moderator or team, the creator may be roaming the raw social media platform live. With a stream of videos in such quick succession that are fairly randomized, a creator would have no chance respectfully adding to each one with such varied pacing and subject matter. Shorts are tightly packaged content. Media that may not offer much chance for reaction even when played a few times, save for a laugh or joke. Community-based curated reactions are hard to come by, but edited video versions of this format are easily the optimal evolution of any TikTok reaction predecessor. Most important for short content with very brief runtimes is being able to add something half meaningful in your reaction. So if a raw reaction is the chosen format, the creator really should have some background as the reason for reacting. The next layer in reaction media is the vending machine of commentary. Commentary is such an expansive term in the modern YouTube and Twitch landscape that it bears mentioning what the term really can break down into. Commentary most forwardly to audiences is a hybrid of reaction and comedy commentary. Creators from Danny Gonzalez to Chad to Ted Nivison have some, if not most, of their main content in the style of a reaction to some sort of media. Usually the videos will contain sketches, skits, analysis, criticism, and sometimes teaching, all greatly underlined with comedy. The next type is video essay commentary, which is really just interchangeable with video essay, but the main difference lies in the spectrum of entertainment and education, along with other minor things like amount of visual content or reliance on script. Video essay commentary could definitely include creators like Wendigoon or even something like a true crime show. Another form of commentary, which is likely the most commonly reacted to by major creators, is drama or news commentary. These videos cover anything from a Mudahar breakdown to a drama response video, and can be seen with pure improvisation, a fully researched script and receipts, and anything in between. There are more genres of commentary on YouTube, but these are the three heavy hitters. Commentary content as reaction fuel is a mixed bag. The most common issue commentary gets in terms of reaction is the length of the video. YouTubers that edit down reactions and try to only keep footage to the pertinent parts do a good job generating something uniquely new. The highlight reel and response style offers to point the viewer at the original content while being packaged with a meaningful comment on that content, allowing the video to stand on its own legs. The nicer aspect of reacting to commentary content is the nature of the genre. Commentary offers so much talking, perspectives, biases, ideas, and so many other thoughts. Such a flood of information make the direction of reacting more straightforward. With the previous shorts format, content could be memes, animations, funny clips, or other content that may not directly warrant discussion. Like previously mentioned, the mixed bag of shorts content could make for a fairly inconsistent reaction piece. Commentary, though, allows non-lazy creators to add insight to what's being said and more easily be additive by bringing in opinions, if not anecdotes or educational comments. That being said, perhaps a long strip of content also prompts some creators to think they can leave or take a break and let the content play, which will also come into play later. Calling video games a react content genre may be a stretch, but it really does bear mentioning in the face of defining reactions. Video game content stretches many formats, including ones previously mentioned like short form and commentary, but I specifically want to refer to gameplay content. When we think of reaction content, typically it's some type of media accompanied by a response that can take multiple forms. Gameplay is another possible form of media in that template, and it's more akin to reaction content that you might expect. For starters, some forms of this gameplay content can be educational, with guides and tutorials shaping the content into something more fitting under a legal definition. In terms of gameplay for pure entertainment, highlight videos likely follow educational and most transformative. Gaming highlight videos can greatly vary in style, but the most additive types of gameplay videos can add a lot of cuts as to not fully copy the experience into their video, as well as include memes and edits on top of the game, transforming the original content. Some gaming content from a theoretical perspective would likely not pass inspection. The common, even to this day, format of Let's Plays failed to transform the content in a meaningful enough way for the legal definition, and it's easy to see why. These types of videos often show off an entire single-player game over the course of an episodic series, usually in a fairly relaxed format containing few edits. It's worth mentioning, though, that even with games like visual novels, a creator can add a lot to the content by voice acting different characters based on the dialogue, and it transforms a lot in the Let's Play format. Games can have varying levels of flexibility in what a player can do to beat the game, so in some instances of fairly linear experiences, the transformative aspect will have to come from the creators' commentary while playing the game, making jokes, adding anecdotal stories while playing, and in essence other fairly similar responses as with short form or commentary reaction content. The final frontier of reaction content is narrative experiences. Story-focused honed creations like movies, TV shows, and animated episodes on YouTube are all also on the table as examples of content that have been reacted to. Where commentary content hits the sweet spot for reactors to potentially add a lot and build discussion, narrative content may be posed in the opposite corner. Like mentioned before with live reactions, creators typically don't have the preparation time to be additive while they're seeing the content for the first time. As content's packed in with shorts, the same is also true with more story-based creations. YouTube is rich with content theorizing, discussing, critiquing, and more about content like movies, but it's all happening post-first watch, or even post-second, third, or more watches. There have been stints on platforms like Twitch where reacting to content like this was okay, and other smaller outlaw websites often escape problems as well, but typically the corporate Grim Reaper comes and destroys hope for reactors on this note. In terms of the reaction landscape, reacting to corporate-owned shows or movies is fairly taboo even now, with reaction content being less frowned upon. It's worth remembering, however, that all of the previously mentioned categories of content are copyrighted, and the difference between allowed and banned is a fair use court case away. These corporate owners of narrative content are simply the most proactive at taking down their own copyright. So like the smaller genre of music reactions that are tippy-toed around, the taboo is less a moral distinction and rather a functional one. you won't get away with reacting to it. But not necessarily all narrative reaction content is banned, and the difficulty to be additive may not be the sole issue for taboo. Shorts content could be the most difficult to add to with just the short length and variety, but of course it's some of the most common React content you'll find, openly supported by YouTube. No, some creators do dare to react to story-based content and find great success. Generally, anything free to watch on YouTube is actually greenlighted by the platform, and YouTubers can also have deals with streaming services or content providers to watch corporate-owned content with no issue. Additionally, there's plenty of great narrative-based content on YouTube like indie animation and analog horror that's completely free to watch. Unfortunately, like the poor uses of commentary for reaction, the sheer amount of time and creativity harnessed for narrative creations can feel taken away from when a reactor features the entire piece in their video or a series of uploads. Generally speaking, a poor reaction to this media can be a slap in the face to the creator, whether part of a big team on a movie or an animated meme on a short. But it's important base to consider the differences in reaction content based on what the subject of the reaction really is. We've gone over the media that reactors will engage with, but really only at the entertainment level the content can provide and what it means on the reactor's end. But there's of course more to talk about beyond the surface. The first of which is how the original creator or creators of the aforementioned media are being referenced. In reaction media, credit is extremely important, as it's the key way that creators can go back and watch the original media as well as explore more content from said creator. Reaction content in some part serves to promote the original content, but the level of promotion can greatly vary depending on best practices in original media. Starting with the most blatant, we have gameplay content. Streaming games usually comes with a few key credits, like the stream's title, a hashtag, or a category placement if you're on Twitch. If the stream is sponsored, the game team may also instruct the streamer to add some sort of text or graphic on stream, in addition to the previous credits. If sponsored, narrative reactions will also have some sort of indicative on-screen text if not already in the title, while non-sponsored creators may not even bother with too complicated of credits. If it's not free on YouTube, the creator is either too small for copyright holders to catch them, they're using a visual loophole, or they're streaming on a platform that hasn't come down on copyright yet. The copyright dodgers likely won't stop to care about appropriately crediting corporate-owned material. Back to games, due to the marketability that comes with a streamer playing a game without being paid to, including the gaming content fair use precedent set a while ago, companies generally have no problems with these practices. Even indie game developers benefit greatly, maybe the most, as a larger streamer playing their game could lead to a solid chance at discovery. On the topic of streamers, we have live shorts and commentary reactions. Again, fairly straightforward. If the content's on YouTube, the streamer will watch it in the mini player, which gives kind of an auto credit. The title of the video, as well as the creator's channel, are visible to the audience at a glance. In VOD uploads of streams after the fact, the reactor or their team is also supposed to include a video link to the original content, or a credit to their socials. Shorts reactions specifically are a bit different, however. Shorts have credits that are significantly smaller with a potential TikTok handle watermark, and sometimes the creator's credit isn't found at all. When live scrolling through YouTube Shorts or TikTok, at least the credit can be found in nature similar to the YouTube long forms aforementioned. But more often than not, the creator could be reacting to a team-curated collection of shorts that have questionable record of credit. It's also seen that creators react to shorts compilations, where the original creator may have given permission to the compiler, but the reaction creator was not given permission. This leads us to YouTube editions of reaction content. At its best, YouTube reactions can be commentary style, which means they'll likely be a more focused form of reaction to a select few creators, or even a piece formatted on one individual, which could be in reaction to mediums past YouTube, like a tweet or Instagram post, meant to tie the whole story together. Because of this, the creators may not be obligated to include a link in the description or too much edited text because they're already bringing up the creator's name and even titles of projects several times. Not all reaction content is commentary though. There's also the general reaction to content, typically a first-time experience of it. This type of content can come in various forms, but singular and compilation is the easiest way of breaking it down. Singular can be seen in reaction to a single creator, whether a dedicated major video or a slew of videos. This type of content, like commentary, is already so heavily invested in a particular person that the creator being reacted to is most certainly mentioned at the jump, linked especially if it's a single video, and overall fairly credited more common and easier from a creator's perspective. Compilation though is a different story. Compilation content features many creators, especially notable with short form reactions. So if creators are reacting to a pre-made compilation they don't have permission for, or rather than watching videos raw on the platform, they have the MP4 in the upload, it's unlikely that the original creators will get their credit. Luckily, a more common practice nowadays is directly linking the video, channel, or other social media platform in the description. Credit is obviously extremely important in content creation. It's why TikTok even has the watermark bouncing around or at the end when downloading a video. They make it easy to obtain and transport, but not entirely as easy to completely remove credit. Nowadays, reform continues to positively shift any YouTube content towards a more moral perspective due to the simple fact of audiences making their voices heard about what kind of content they want to see. Unfortunately, the uninformed, such as young children, are still going to assist in immoral creation, but that doesn't mean nothing can be done. Again, crediting creators is one of these major leaps that has been taking place recently online, and though it's been a problem for a truly long stretch of time, it's possible that the baseline is finally being set to a fairly high standard. There will always be thieves and creators with an everyone's gotta eat mindset, but the increase of awareness in thievery is vital to ensuring a top percentage of kind, fair use in the creator community. But crediting isn't the only important aspect of respecting the original content through editing. It's also important to note the reaction to media ratio. To be brief, content should not only credit the original, but respect the source in such a way that audiences are encouraged to check out the original. Unfortunately, TikTok reactions have a problem where a video is watched at least once in its entirety, so viewers really have no reason to go back and watch the original. A similar situation takes place with live streams or full VODs of reactions to a video essay or narrative series. The mindset that wonders why they should watch the original when they already watched it all through their favorite creator. This is why establishing a healthy reaction to media ratio is so beneficial for the original creator. Commentary channels often clearly outshine the more commonly known reaction content in terms of fair use because they have the time to edit bits, and even edit the original source while it's being referenced, usually having a very healthy reaction to media ratio. Overall, respecting the source means giving credit wherever possible, and also editing the content down in its final form to encourage viewership to the original. As mentioned before, quality of reaction often ties into not just the enjoyability from an audience's perspective, but also the fair use and respect shown to the original source. Though the quality of reaction may be subjective, it's worth breaking down some of the more obvious aspects of a reaction that distinguish right and wrong. An aspect many point out with poor reactions is simply the lack thereof, especially prevalent on stream. There's long stretches of time staring blankly, eating, sleeping, or not even in the room with the content playing. This kind of reaction can still be baked into a solid highlight, but the stream audience and VOD watchers will have watched a significant amount of content without input from a creator. This sort of negligence to be additive ties into how creators respect the source. In this case, audiences are likely less encouraged to watch the original content in the slightest because they're hardly even watching it being transformed in the first place. Some would consider this re-uploading, stealing. There's also the case of reactions being present but barely at a higher register than the previous mention. Reactions that rely on facial expressions or an infectious laugh aren't necessarily better in terms of respecting the source than just doing nothing. Beyond this, there's a spectrum of commentary according to videos. Like I mentioned in types of media, some forms of content are just harder to make a comment on, and short form gets the brunt of this. In 2023, there was a massive wave against poorly done reaction content in modern day, and one of these main points include the lack of strong commentary on content like shorts, like stating the obvious, just reading the text on screen, or in some cases even stealing jokes. Commentary like stated is on a spectrum, but reaction content can be even more egregious when the creator doesn't put the effort in to truly transform the original media by embodying these poor methods. Preparation, however, flies in the face of bad commentary. Not all reaction content is necessarily a live, first thought about what's being seen. Some reactors watch something and, through preparation, truly add to it, making jokes, creating isolated skits, breaking down the content piece by piece, and so many other forms of additive response in the recording phase are available to creators. As mentioned, creators can also be respectful to the original source through editing and a solid reaction to media ratio. Not all creators have to react to all content. In fact, I've mentioned how difficult it can be for reactors to truly add to a topic they don't know much about. Enter relevance. One often skipped thought of reaction content in the debate of right and wrong is the relevance between the creator and the media being reacted to. React content can be more justified when it's relevant to the creator based on two main factors. The first, which has briefly been touched upon, is the idea of being an educated creator in the area of the content, and then relaying that education through tidbits or explanations of the reaction. If a relevant creator is skilled on the topic, They're typically accepted or even praised for their commentary on the media. These formats don't have to be lawyer or doctor reacts either. They can also make up more niche online topics like FNAF theory reactions, which, rather than relying on a tangible degree, depend on the creator's reputation or niche knowledge online. This form of reaction is of course reliant on the reactor having that qualification or notoriety. Smaller creators with less experience backing them will still be accepted due to pulling a smaller audience relative to the content in question, but they may not be taken as seriously in the community as a whole. The secondary factor is who the content is being made for. Most of the time, content online is not made to be reacted to by anyone or even partially so. It's simply made on its own merits. However, there are cases where creators are supported for reacting to content, even uplifting their communities, and that's in the case of content made for them. Some content can be made indirectly for a creator. The original poster is not pressed that a particular channel reacted, rather they're excited to get a response on their project. Communities with lots of theorizing and clue finding, such as Five Nights at Freddy's, often get this particular indirect tag, where creators make a serious claim in the title, leading to major members of their community to make some sort of response. On the flip side, some content could be made directly for a creator as part of a short film contest, birthday message, or even submissions themed around a topic like seen on JShot Live. Relevance to a creator is a major on or off switch in the realm of viewing reaction content as morally valid. If the creator has absolutely nothing to do with the content, the reaction better be fairly additive or make a generous comedic angle. Content being relevant to the creator is a massive advantage though, as purely the basis of being centered around the reactor's community or tangential to the reactor's skills and knowledge make a solid case for fair use in the eyes of the creator community. Like stated, people can get excited for creator responses to direct or indirect related community creations, making the react content feel a lot more personal and necessary in relation to the creator's own content. The feature of relevance could be considered on a spectrum like other concepts in this video. Though someone plays games for a living, people may not feel that individual is entitled to make laid-back reactions to any content related to gaming. Relevance is sort of like the end-of-the-road security checkpoint that either does or doesn't ensure safe passage of a video, but it's worth considering for how it affects the content and makes the viewers feel. Reaction content for me has never been that captivating to make. When reacting, it feels so forced to try to add value to the content. The main issue for my personal fulfillment when creating comes down to a classic artist dilemma in work versus enjoyment. In this particular case, I may greatly enjoy watching or playing on my own, and that's great. Then there's when I'm recording, and it becomes potentially less fun to force something additive or pipe in to ensure there's some influence or charm. It's especially awful with watching content. Sadly, it's not even that I necessarily care about the original creators, that I need to be mindful about how I'm treating the media. It's just that there's some pit in my stomach. Not adding, not making this reaction something of my own either feels time wasting or sickening. Admittedly, this feeling isn't lost with gaming either. Sometimes I'll feel like a deer in headlights, completely zoning out, and there'll be stretches and streams with not much added. But wholesale for the final edit, I do appreciate gaming quite a bit more. I can create and come upon naturally these interactive bits and experiences that make for great content. Gaming helps guide me and surely other creators more than having to be knowledgeable or funny with watchable reaction content. In that final cut, I can be satisfied. But personally, this is the reason I've always enjoyed a more stepped back and thoughtful perspective like a commentary, essay, or news video. When thinking about my enjoyment of making reaction style content, I also delve into what makes me enjoy making content in general. Writing is probably my favorite part of the pre-releasing process. With gameplay highlighting, there can be parts of the playing that's fun, especially with friends. But the best part is when that video comes out. Metrics are a quick glance which can sway emotionally, but no, the best part of the entire cohesive process to me is seeing the comments. Sure, you can react to something for the content, but for me it's seeing other people's reactions to what I've actually created, what I've transformed or added. Comments are this special prize at the end of a creative process where I feel appreciated and have targeted thoughts on the topic I'm also interested in. Reaction content personally fulfills a similar one-sided interaction for me in a specific way, and that's insightful reactions. When a creator happens to be very knowledgeable about the topic they're reacting to, I can greatly appreciate their commentary and reaction because I know of their history and experience, at least to some degree. This ties into the community involvement concept once again, where no one involved is really harmed by the reaction, and the creator is even asked and expected in many cases to contribute with commentary on media. The ideas of my creator self appreciating insight from commenters, and my viewer self appreciating insight from creators, give me the sense that conceptually, reaction content does have a place on YouTube. It deserves to be an element of the media some of us consume. In the midst of so many forms of craving someone else's take or response, reaction content offers something unique, even while using another's unique creation. Many creators are able to pull the content off in a more respectful way, or others are tied closer to the source and gain the mutual's immunity. But not all reaction content should really exist. The stuff that's practically reposting media can get quite vile. But policing by other creators can at least give the right reactors the reputations they deserve, and an opportunity to change. Reaction content has been on the platform for ages, and it's here to stay. With variances from the reaction media to the reactors' abilities, it's stretched across communities, bringing up heroes and creating villains. But in the end, it's up to the viewers to vote with their time and be the ultimate judge.